Hey everyone, I'm Bill. I'm with Kalimoto TV, and today we are talking about the issues that we are having with our 2019 Ford Fiesta ST. Before I get into the background of the foreground and what's happening with the car today, I want to just kind of go over with some unfortunate incidents that have happened in the past with the same vehicle. Not this same vehicle, but the same model vehicle. Now, this vehicle was purchased just 3 weeks ago for Bogna. Bogna decided she wanted a new car, and she decided she was going to go with the Fiesta. Now, let's rewind it back 3 years ago. Bogna bought a Fiesta ST 3 years ago, and she had the car for not too long, and the car was bought back by Ford as a lemon. There was a suspension issue with the the Fiesta, and Ford could never get it taken care of. And here in California, if you guys don't know, we have a lemon law where you can, if they can't fix the car, they will buy the car back. So what's ended up happening was the car was purchased back from Ford, and Bogna went out and bought a Subaru STI. And so she loved the STI. She really liked the car, but she always talked about this Fiesta, and she always loved the Fiesta. So last year, she decided she was going to sell the STI, and we weren't driving the STI. We had a couple different cars, and so needless to say, the STI went away. And so she's been commuting to San Francisco on a motorcycle. But just recently, we've decided that we're going to add another car to the driveway. And so we've kind of been going back and forth and looking at what we wanted to do and what the different vehicles that Bogna wanted to look at. We looked at a Mercedes GLA 45 AMG. She kind of looked at the Honda Type R, but I think that wasn't really too much. But needless to say, she kept going back. She kept going back to this Fiesta ST. So as some of you guys know, I bought a 2019 F-250 from the local dealership here in Dixon, and I had a great experience. Shannon was super nice over there, so we decided that when we were going to buy the Fiesta ST, we were just going to go back to Shannon, and Shannon would take care of us, and it wouldn't be an issue. So we went back over to Shannon about 2 weeks ago and let her know that we were looking for a Fiesta ST, and we had kind of poked around online, and we had saw that there was some that were around, but we noticed that they didn't have any. So she confirmed Ron DuPratt did not have any Fiesta STs. So she ordered us one, and didn't really order us one. She dealer traded us one. She found one down in Redwood City, which is just a couple hours down south. So she, in the few days following, she had arranged to have the car brought up to Dixon, and right around the 1st of February, I think it was actually the 30th of January, 31st of January, she gave us a call, and the car was in. Great. We came back. We were at a party. Actually, I think it was on the 1st. We were at a party, and we rushed back, and we took delivery of the car, and it's just been it's been great. Now, rewind a couple days, we knew this car was coming, so Bogna had already ordered parts for this. So what was great about the channel, and you guys have been so receptive with my 250 build, and we love to tinker with cars, and we wanted to share this with you, that we decided that we were going to throw the Ford Fiesta ST into our Ford Friday, and we were going to share with you guys the F-250 and the Fiesta ST and what we're doing with it, and we were just going to make Ford Friday out of the deal. So she had actually already ordered parts and started ordering parts for the Fiesta. Again, she had owned one of these, so she already knew about all the manufacturers and all of the different things that she wanted to do to the vehicle. So she had bought intakes and exhaust and tuners and spoilers and suspension, and she'd spent $3,000. At one point, she had texted me and said, will you come home and take my credit card away from me? But you know what? It's her car, and she loved to do it, and we were so excited to share it on the channel. So needless to say, we picked the car up. And she loved the car. I mean, the thing is just stupid ridiculous. It's like 220 horsepower. It's a 1.6 liter pushing this tiny little car. I mean, the thing is just, it's ridiculously fun. It's like a little go-kart. So we have the car for a couple days, and she is going to be using it to go out to the ranch to see the horse and whatnot. So I decide that I'm going to get her some all-weather floor mats. So I look at Ford. Ford sells the ones that have the ST badge on it. So I was like, yeah, it's got to have the badge, right? So a couple days, I think we've had the car for about 3 days, and the mats come in, and I go and I put them in the car, and I'm super excited to put floor mats in the car. And I get to the back of the car, and I notice that in the back passenger seat of the car, the floor is soaking wet. And we're not talking like a little bit of damp. We're not talking like maybe some rain, like maybe some raindrops got in there. I'm talking like you pushed on the carpet and it was squishy and your hand was soaking wet. Like an excessive amount of water. And now, mind you, it had just started raining the day before, so it had only had 1 day driven in the rain. We had less than 100 miles on the car. The car got delivered to us with about 106 miles because it came from another dealership. So when we took delivery of the car, it had like 106 or 116 miles. Now the car's got under 200 miles, and the floor is soaking wet. So Bogna, of course, is not happy, and I said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm going to go over. I'll show Shannon, and she's always been so great with us. She'll take care of this. So I go over to the dealership, and I said, Shannon, can you come out and take a look at this? She comes out, and she's like, whoa, like that's crazy. Like I'm going to get this taken care of right now. So she calls over to the body shop, and it was about 4:50 on Monday night, I think. And so we had the car over the weekend. And so like Monday or Tuesday. So she says, she gives me a card to a guy, and she says, go and talk to Mike over at the body shop and he'll get you squared away. And I said, all right, perfect. Great. Thank you. So the next morning I go over to the body shop and I ask for Mike DuPratt, this gentleman, and he comes up and I'm explaining him the situation, and he goes out to the car and he looks at the car and he comes back in and we're exchanging information and everything, and he basically hands me the keys, and Mike was rough at this point. Like he was already like, his customer service skills were like that already, and so he hands me the keys and says, we'll give you a call like when we're ready to fix the car. And I'm like, the car's brand new. There's water inside the car. It's never good to have water inside your car. The exterior of your car, the harnesses and all of the electricals, they're all designed to be in the weather. But the inside of cars are not designed to be in weather. They're not designed to be in water. So I expressed this to him, and I says, this needs to be addressed sooner than later. And he says, well, I've got a guy out on back injury, and I've got a guy called in sick, and I don't have anybody, and it's going to take 3 to 4 days for us to get authorization to fix the car. I'm like, the car's got 100 miles, or 200 miles, but 100 miles to me. It's the car's brand new. We've had the car for 3 days. What do you need authorization for? The car needs to be fixed, and the car kind of needs to be fixed now. So we go outside, and his customer service level slowly goes to the point where I'm so mad at how I'm being treated at this point that I say, you know what? Give me the keys to the car. I'm going back over to the sales department. I'll get it taken care of over there. I don't want to deal with this guy anymore. So now Mike is in the car. He refuses to get out of the car. He refuses to give me the keys to the car. And it was just, I'm like at disbelief at this point that we've just spent $110,000. And it shouldn't matter of how much money that we've spent with them. It shouldn't matter if I spent $5,000 on a used car, or if I've spent $110,000, or I know that there's people out there that spend $100,000 every month with dealerships that have businesses that continues to buy. It doesn't matter how much money. Everybody should be treated with respect, and it should have customer service. And I won't rant into the customer service. I'm so upset with customer service nowadays. But anyways, Mike's customer service was zero. So I get back in the car and I head over to the sales department and I ask if Shannon's there. Shannon's not there. Brandon was there. Brandon, I apologize. I didn't mean to vent as I did to you, but obviously I was frustrated and I was quite angry with this situation. I left the keys on Brandon's desk and told him, take care of the car. I want the car now. I want it taken care of. End of story. And I walked out. So Brandon catches up with me and says, hey, I'll get this dealt with. I'm going to get this situated. Let me, I'll give you a ride home, and we'll get it all situated. And I'm like, okay, fine. So a couple days go by. So right off the bat, Ron DuPratt's communication with customers is, again, zero, just like their customer service. The sales customer service is great. They get your money, but then the after, that's where we are. That's the problem that we have right now, because the customer service is absolutely zero thereafter. Once they've sold you the car, you will be treated like complete garbage thereafter. So no communication. I've had to communicate with them. A couple days later, we're obviously down a car, so we had to get a rental car, and so we went over to talk to Shannon, and Shannon got us in touch with Scott, who's one of the sales managers, and Scott got us a rental car, and he says, hey, we'll take care of everything. So we went and got a rental car, and so weekend goes by, so this is last weekend, and on Monday, I call over there, and I says, what's going on with the car? And they says, well, we can't find a leak. We can't locate a leak. Come pick up your car. We can't find the leak. Come pick up your car. So we get the car on late Monday night, and Tuesday it's dry. I think Bogna drives it out to the ranch. We take it to dinner in Vacaville. And so on Wednesday of this week, we had massive torrential downpours here in Dixon. We had flood watches and everything. So the perfect opportunity for me to drive the car. So I took it over to the shop in Vacaville, and to see if there's any water back there. And sure enough, I get to Vacaville, and I put my hand down there, and soaking wet again. So I'm upset, to say the least, but I'm like, I'll be calm about it. I'm going to play the cards differently. I'm not going to go in there angry about this situation. I'm going to go in there simply, look, it needs to be fixed. And now I'm having more concerns, because now I'm seeing the pattern of Bogna's first car where they couldn't fix the car. So we've got water in the car again for a second time in less than 2 weeks, week and a half. So I go back over and I go over to the sales department, because I kind of don't want to deal with the service department, and it's just the salespeople were so great to work with that I thought, you know what, I'm going to go back over there. Scott was super cool, so I'm going to go and talk to Scott. So I went over and talked to Scott and said, hey, Scott, here's the situation. I'm starting to really have issues with this car, and I think that we are starting to decide that we don't want this car anymore, that we need a replacement vehicle to get into instead of this one, because I feel like this is just, let's just cut this one loose. Now we have less than 200 miles on the car from us. 300. The odometer was at like 300 on the dot when I took it in. So we've had the car for a week and a half. Ron DuPratt had it longer than we've owned the car. So Scott says, okay, let me talk to the general manager. So he goes and gets the general manager, who's Barry over at Ron DuPratt. And so me and Barry sit down in Barry's office, and I stress to Barry that water inside the vehicle is never a good thing. You guys have already gone in there. You guys have already been unable to locate this leak. We've got water inside the vehicle again, and I think that it's best that we just make this car disappear and let's get a different car. So, me and Barry talk, and I understand that it's not as easy as that. I understand. I get that it's not just that easy. He expresses to me that, the state sales tax is an issue, and he explains to me that registration is an issue. And So he goes, there's procedures obviously for lemoning, and I get that and I understand that. I know that there's 3-strike rule. We're already on 2, but there's 3-strike rule, and that we really should be going through this. But under the circumstances that we're in, where we have less than 200 miles of our driven miles, and it's been less than 5 days of ownership, that and it's already been in the shop twice, I think it was reasonable to ask for a new car. So Barry says, give me an opportunity to locate this leak. And these were the exact words that Barry said. Now remember these words, because in a few minutes, these words mean nothing. Barry says to me, he says, give me until tomorrow morning. If I can't locate this leak, we will get you a new car. Those were the words that came out of Barry's mouth. And I said, Barry, I'll give that to you. I'll give you until tomorrow to locate this leak. Now, this is Tuesday morning, so they've still got they've got all day today, and they've got tomorrow morning to figure this all out. So the next morning, I'm patiently awaiting a phone call, which I don't receive. And so finally, just after noon, Scott calls me, which I'm expecting a call from Barry, because Barry is the general manager. And I know Barry's busy, but I feel like we're in a situation that this is a call that Barry needs to make. So Scott calls me. Great. Bill, we have located the leak. They've found the leak. They're going to get everything squared away. They need a little bit more time on the car. Stand by. I'll get back with you. And I says, well, where is this leak coming from? Because I'm curious, because if it's coming, because they seem to think that it's not coming from the floor, where the floorboard and the carpet is, that it's actually coming from the center console, and it's leaking down the floor and settling. And I'm like, that sounds like an even worse situation, because now you've got water coming from the center console. So again, so where exactly is this leak, Scott? Scott says, I don't know. He didn't know. They didn't tell him. And I said, okay. So I decide I'm going to leave work in Vacaville. I head to Dixon, and I go to the shop, and I've been informed that the general manager of the shop and the repair center is Rich. So I go over there and I ask for Rich, and Mike Dupree is there, and Mike Dupree's tone is changed quite a bit. And rewind about Mike Dupree. Apparently I overheard that Scott had talked to Mike Dupree, and Scott wasn't very happy with how Scott was treated by his own employee, Mike Dupree. It's kind of crazy to hear that. But anyways, Mike's tone had changed, and he was somewhat handling the situation with kid gloves. And so I says, hey, I went in there and I was like, look, I'm just looking for Rich. I just want to look at the car. I just talked to Scott. Scott indicated to me that you guys have found the leak, but he didn't know where the leak was. And so I just kind of wanted to get it from, we're playing telephone. Look, I just want to get it from the goat's mouth. I guess the dog's mouth. I don't know. Somebody's mouth. I want to get it from Mike's mouth. Where is this leak? And Mike proceeds to tell me they have not found the leak. Now, let's rewind. 24 hours later, or earlier, the words out of Barry's mouth were, if we don't locate the leak by the morning, which for some reason they had located the leak, but now have not located the leak, that I would get a new vehicle. And I says, okay, let me just see the vehicle. Let me just see the car. And explain to me what you guys have found. They said they have located, they have confirmed that there is a leak, but they have not confirmed where the leak is coming from, which is a concern to me, because now it's like, so the night prior, again, all of Tuesday, it was torrential downpours. It poured like crazy. We had flooding here in Dixon, all over the Bay Area. So overnight, because of the water, it had leaked into the car. So they had found water in the channels of the floor of the car, but they when they were running it in water over the car in the morning. I guess they weren't running enough or couldn't get enough in the car to actually get the car to leak again. But they had confirmed that there was water in the car and there was a leak somewhere, but they didn't know where. So Rich comes over and we have a conversation and we go out to the car. And the car is completely torn apart inside. Everything. When I say everything, I mean the seat belts are unbolted from the side of the car. Every single trim piece is removed of the car. There is no seats in the car. There is no carpet in the car. There is no side panels on the car. There is nothing in the car except for the dashboard and the leather boot around the shift knob, the shifter, because it's simply stapled in, which I found odd. Here's the picture. So you see the staples? It seems odd that they staple that in. But anyways, that's what the car looked like. And I'm in disbelief. The car has 300 miles, 200 of ours. We've had the car for now 10 days. Ron DuPratt's had the car for over 8 of these or 7 of these days. And the car is now completely torn apart. And I'm like, okay, so we need a new car. No questions. We're getting a new car. There is no way that I'm taking this car back. If any of you guys understand, you car guys, you understand. You pull one little piece of trim off the door sill. How many tabs do you break pulling that door trim off? Just the one piece of door trim. Let alone the entire inside of the car. I was over at the shop, a different shop that's working on the truck. We'll leave them out of this. But they said, Bill, this car will never be the same. It will rattle. It will shake. Things will be loose. This car will never be the same, which I agree. So I left the body shop and I went over to the sales department and Scott and Barry were there. And I says, just the people I want to see. And I said, so you guys have said that they have found the leak. Yeah. No, they haven't found the leak. Barry says, come into my office and talk. Of course, Barry, come into my office and talk. So we go into the office and I says, Barry, I said, let me show you. And I show him the pictures of the car. And I said, there's nothing in the car. This is not a car that I will keep. It's not even a question anymore if this car is going to continue to belong to us. It is not. I will not keep this car. Absolutely not. Barry starts to talk about, well, what if we offer you warranties? And what if we offer you all the bells and whistles and on the protection plans? I go, Barry, I'll have to ask Bogna about that. But I'm pretty sure she has already decided, which she has. She had already decided. And I haven't shown her the pictures yet, by the way. Or at that time, I hadn't shown her the pictures. But she had already decided, I want a different car. So I continue to talk to Barry, and I says, Barry, we just want a different car. And he says, well, we knew that this was coming, and Scott brings in like a one-page sheet. And he says, this page symbolizes all of the Fiesta STs with Recaro seats and the fully loaded version like we purchased in the United States. One sheet. And there is not another magnetic gray one. Period. There is not. So, the closest thing we have is one down south, just a little bit. I think near the dealership we got the original one from, but it's in white. And if we would be willing to take the white, Barry says, I'll get you the white one and we'll go from there. And I said, let me go home and talk to Bogna, but I think that's the route we're going to go. So I go home and I tell Bogna, look, all right, so gray car's gone. We're definitely going to take the gray car back. The problem is that there's one car, which she had already been on Ford. She already knew. She's like, oh yeah, there's a white one. I'll take it. She already had already gone on and looked and searched the inventory. And she's like, I'll take the white one. So I call Scott, and now we're talking Wednesday night, I believe. And I call Scott and I let him know, Thursday night, excuse me. So just a couple days ago. And I let him know we will take the white one. So I don't hear from Scott yesterday. And so yesterday I drive by the body shop because I want to see the condition of the vehicle and see if it's still sitting out in the rain. And sure enough, I drive by and the car's sitting out in the pouring rain again. But I find the car like this. For whatever reason, they have the back bumper and the rear passenger taillight removed. And if you look close enough in that picture, you will see that the taillights, the bulbs, and the harnesses, which are supposed to be, not supposed to get wet. They're supposed to be in the lighting housing and they lock in so they stay watertight. They're not supposed to be wet. They're just dangling in the rain. And the picture that I took was about 5 minutes after sitting there waiting for the rain to stop being a torrential downpour. So I'm like, did they wreck the car? What did they do to the car? I have no idea why they've got that removed. Because the water is coming in the complete opposite side of the vehicle, I'm being told. But now all of a sudden, this is. And there was no water in the rear of the car. I had checked the rear of the car. We had checked everything. So I don't know why the back of the car was done. But this was super confirmation that I am not taking this car. Period. But it's fine because it's not our car anymore. We got the white one. The white one's been, they're getting the white one for us. So this morning, Scott calls me and says, so the white one's been allocated. It has been sold to a customer. It is going to be picked up this weekend. So the white one is no longer available. And so now we come to the dilemma that we have expanded our search and we have found a similar one in the LA area, but we haven't confirmed the availability of it. But if it is, we have to figure out if they will just let us buy it out or if we have to do a dealer trade or whatever. And I'm like, Scott, I don't care. I just want a car now. Period. I want a new car and I want a new car now. We're at our second week of owning the car. You guys have had the car for 3/4 of the time we've owned it. The car's been in the weather. It's been torn apart. It's been battered. I just want a new car. So you do what you have to do to get me the new car. I feel like it's reasonable. I feel like it's a reasonable request after spending it. Again, it shouldn't even be about the spending. It shouldn't be that we spent as much money as we have. People buy multiple cars from dealerships in a year. That's great. But those are the valued people, right? Those are the people you very, very value. And to this time, since the delivery of the vehicle, the value has been zero. There has been zero value of me and my girlfriend with spending over $110,000 last month in purchasing 2 vehicles from them. And now I'm being told that the vehicle that has leaking issues inside multiple times, it's been torn apart, it's been put back together, I don't know. So Scott starts to talk about that the car is actually been reassembled, the leak has now mysteriously been fixed, and apparently the vehicle is going to be ready for pickup on Monday. And I say to Scott, I'm not taking that car back. It's not even a question. That car, it does not belong to us anymore. I don't want that car anymore. I asked them to please have Barry call me. The communication has been so bad. I feel like these are conversations that Barry should be having with me. These aren't conversations that Scott should be having, because Scott's just the middleman. Scott's the telephone guy. So 5 minutes later, the phone rings and it's Barry. And Barry stresses to me that he's at home. He was at home with his family, and he came into work just to call me. Yet I just talked to Scott 5 minutes ago. I mean, maybe he lives around the corner. I don't know. But I just talked to Scott. And now all of a sudden, angry as I was, now I'm becoming mad about the situation again. Barry calls me and starts to go over the complications of getting another car and all this blah, blah, blah. Why we're not going to get another car, but why he's going to give us another car. And while there isn't another car to give us, he's locating another car to give us. But he's talked to Ford. This was the greatest. This was great. He's talked to Ford, and Ford has informed them where the leak is coming from. Ford has informed Ron DuPratt where the leak is coming from. And they have identified the leak. They have fixed the leak, and that my car is ready for pickup on Monday. In a couple days. It's Saturday today. But he says, I'm going up to bat for you, and I'm trying to get you a new car. But there isn't any. I can't get you one. I go, what about the ones that are in LA? And he says, well, they're in LA. They're kind of past our travel areas, but if I've got to put a guy on a plane, I will. Okay. Put a guy on a plane and go get me another car, because that's what needs to happen. We go back and forth, and it becomes clear that I'm not going to get another car. And it becomes clear at the end of the conversation that the car is apparently ready for pickup on Monday. So updates will come. What do we do? I need your guys' help. This is a cry for help. I know the general California lemon laws, but we haven't even made a payment on the car. We haven't had the possession of the car for more than a week. We've got less than 200 miles driven on the car. So help us out. Hit the comment down below. Shoot me a message if you guys can help me out with this. If anybody's watching this that has any involvement with Ford, that can help me out with this. I've come to a dead end with Ron DuPratt, I think, and I can't. I guess I can't deal with it anymore. I don't know. It's draining. It's so draining. Bogna can't even sleep at night. Bogna, the last 2 nights she's been up. It's an emotional thing when you spend. It doesn't matter how much you spend. Look, if I bought a $1,000 TV and I had these problems, I would have had a brand new $1,000 TV 2 weeks ago. And I can guarantee you Best Buy wouldn't have tried to fix that $1,000 TV. They would have sent that $1,000 TV back to Samsung or Sony and said, you deal with this issue. And I did bring that up to Barry. I says, because Barry was like, oh, we don't manufacture these cars. We just sell it. And I said to Barry, the name of your business is Ron DuPratt Ford. You need to stand behind your product. I don't care who built the product. You're selling a product that is manufactured by a company that is in the name of your business. You should be stepping forward and going to bat with Ford, because this is absolutely ridiculous. So sorry, I can't continue to rant, but we don't really know what to do at this point. So we're really looking for some help. And I'm sorry that this video has gone so long. Hopefully you guys have made it this far. Shoot us a comment down below. Shoot me a message. I would appreciate any help if you guys have it. But if not, if you guys have made it this far, thank you. Stay tuned for updates, and we'll go from there. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it.